What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and over the past month, the backlash has been massive against Disney and Lucasfilm in the aftermath of them firing Gina Carano for her political opinion. There have been so many people that are calling out the hypocrisy and the clear double standards that exist at this company. And now CEO Bob Chapek, on an investor call today, was asked questions that he did not want to answer. He was asked about the firing of Gina Carano. He was asked about the clear double standards between the things other people at Lucasfilm post, vice what she posted that she got fired for. He proceeded to continue to spin and lie and try not to answer in any way that he could. And he was also asked about the future of Kathleen Kennedy. And if you care about Star Wars, you're probably not gonna like his answer. Let's take a look at this article. This is from Bounding in the Comics, John F. Trent. Disney CEO Bob Chapek confirms Star Wars is dead and provides revolting answer to question about Gina Carano. Now, there was a big investor call today. I know a lot of people were talking about it. I saw some people streaming it. I think Not My Star Wars was probably listening. He usually does for those things. But there were a couple things at the end, at a Q&A session, when investors got to ask questions to CEO Bob Chapek. And, listen, they had some balls to ask these questions. I really appreciate them asking these questions. Should we start with Kathleen Kennedy or Gina Carano? Let's start with Gina Carano. Let's start with that one, shall we? Disney CEO Bob Chapek answering questions on Gina Carano. Let's take a listen. It's about a minute long. Starts with the question, then the answer.
Hi there. It's clear that there's a new blacklist punishing conservatives in the entertainment industry. Disney Plus actors Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano tweeted similar analogies of current political events to Nazi Germany. Yet only Carano, who is considered a conservative, was fired from The Mandalorian. Regarding Disney and a blacklist, this is the way?
Now, that was obviously something that he had set up, that he was ready to ask, that he was really confident about asking. Kind of puts Bob Chapek in a tough position talking in front of all these investors, doesn't it? And Bob Chapek does everything he can to not answer this question and clearly lie about what Disney actually stands for. Listen.
Well, thank you for your question. I don't really see Disney as characterizing itself as left-leaning or right-leaning, yet instead standing for values that are universal, values of respect, values of decency, values of integrity, and values of inclusion. And we seek to have not only how we operate, but the content that we make reflective of the rich diversity of the world that we live in. And I think that's a world that we all should live in harmony and peace. Thank you for your question. Next question, please.
All right, there you go. So a complete non-answer, and really lies, to be honest with you. We value inclusion and diversity. We're for everyone. We don't lean one way or the other. We know the clear double standards. We know the things that Pedro Pascal posted, his comparisons, far worse and far more quote-unquote offensive than anything that Gina Carano posted, but it's fine because that's the right way of thinking. To be very clear, I am not calling for Pedro Pascal to be fired, for him to be canceled, any of these things. I simply think that you should have equal treatment. If Pedro Pascal is able to say how he feels, then so should Gina Carano. And it wasn't the first or the last time that he would make comparisons like that. We know all about Pedro Pascal. And talking about Disney's a company of values. Are you fucking kidding me, Bob Chapek? Star Wars fans obliterate Disney and Lucasfilm for endorsing Chinese slavery while condemning violence against Asian Pacific Islanders. Because, of course, we all know that they thanked the Chinese Communist Party of China for letting them film next to concentration camps. Fuck off, Disney. And speaking about Disney and inclusion, we know what they did to Finn. They like to say we promote diversity and inclusion, but when it comes to making money in China, what do? They shrink Finn's character because they don't think the Chinese people will like black people that much. That is how much they care about representation. Absolutely disgusting. And it is obvious that this answer is a complete spin, a non-answer, a virtue signal. Disgusting. We all know there are double standards there. We know there is a blacklist. We know the political leanings that you're allowed to have versus you're not allowed to have at Disney and in Hollywood. Bob Chapek is a fucking coward. But speaking of cowards, speaking of inept people, Let's listen to this question, because this one was very interesting as well. Talking about the future of Star Wars. Disney CEO Bob Chapek, and again, shout out to Anna, that Star Wars girl, for putting these up and making these public. Really appreciate that. Disney CEO Bob Chapek answering the Kathleen Kennedy possible firing question. Here we go.
Greetings and salutations. Are you guys looking at firing Kathleen Kennedy or asking her to resign? And promote somebody like Filoni or Favreau or both as a co-counsel?
And just to be clear, the idea that Dave Filoni in any way would be prepared to have that job is kind of laughable, to be honest with you. But continuing, he did ask the question, though. Are you looking at firing Kathleen Kennedy and replacing her? Here, have a listen.
Thank you for your question, George. We've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the kind of creative talent in our company, the likes of Kathy Kennedy to run Lucas. And we look forward to having Kathy directing the activities of the entire Lucasfilm organization for many years to come. Thank you for your question. Next question, please.
All right, so I think that's pretty definitive, wouldn't you say? Now, I don't expect this man to say, yes, we are looking at firing Kathleen Kennedy. Indeed, yes, we are. But at the same time, I talked a couple days ago when he was praising Kathleen Kennedy, putting her on the same level as Kevin Feige for some unknown reason, saying that she's a creative genius. All that is absolute bullshit and nonsense. And I want you to listen to his answer once again, that we love Kathleen Kennedy. We look forward to having her for years to come. Let's listen to that answer again, just so you can get really depressed if you had any hope for the future of Disney Star Wars.
Thank you for your question, George. We've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the kind of creative talent in our company, the likes of Kathy Kennedy to run Lucas. And we look forward to having Kathy directing the activities of the entire Lucasfilm organization for many years to come. Thank you for your question. Next question, please.
There you have it. There you have it. Sad state indeed for Star Wars, isn't it? This is Disney Star Wars. I know some people, I made a video earlier today, I know a lot of people got excited after The Mandalorian. They felt like it was on the right track. I've tried to temper people and warn them, guys, this is still Disney Star Wars. You guys are, I feel like people are getting sucked in by the nostalgia bait and the jangling keys that are involved in The Mandalorian. And sure enough, it wasn't that long after that we realized that this still is truly Disney Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy is running Lucasfilm. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And if it does, she's going to be the one to step away. Disney's not going to fire her. Disney's not going to relieve her in any way, shape, or form. And I think the people who were continuing to push this narrative, continue to push these leaks and rumors, my sources. Yeah, it just doesn't sound like that's very factual at this point, does it? Again, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I can't imagine in front of investors and something like that who'd be like, yes, indeed, we have thought about firing Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you for your question. Next question. You know, that's not really realistic, but at the same time, you got to take his words and listen to them, compare them with what he said, you know, for no reason, putting her on the same level as Kevin Feige. That's ridiculous. The idea that you would feel pressured to do that is insane. Kathleen Kennedy's job is safe, especially after the success of The Mandalorian, what it did for Disney Plus. And I think anyone who tries to tell you something different is fucking kidding themselves. They're fooling themselves. Either they're being fooled or they're fooling themselves, one way or the other. But Bob Chapek getting asked the tough questions by investors today. Shout out to those guys. Sound like those guys watched some of our videos. That's really what it sounds like. A lot of people invested in Disney that are not happy with the current state of affairs, not happy with the clear double standards, the hypocrisy, the fact that this company is constantly under fire, especially over the last month. The Gina Carano thing really blew this up, really got a lot of people's attention to the atrocities that this company has committed, the double standards and the hypocrisy. They're getting called out for it. People are not letting them forget, and I think that's an excellent thing. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. What did you think about the words of Bob Chapek? Do you think he was being honest? Do you think he was just saying what he had to say? Do you think that Kathleen Kennedy is still going to be there this time next year? And what do you think of the Gina Carano non-answer? What an absolute fucking coward. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.